SQL in minutes. Today, I came up with a very interesting question that was asked in one of the big product-based company in finance domain. So let's see the question. What exactly the question? So we need to find revenue retention. Okay. So we need to find a monthly revenue retention based on the user transaction table. So we have a table name here, but we don't have any kind of a schema about the table. Okay, so let's try to quickly make some assumptions of the columns or like a data fields, whatever it may present in the table. So in general, since this is related to finance domain, so user transaction table will have major thing called user ID, and we may also have transaction date and amount. Okay, so these are the three columns that are needed for our use case. Okay, we may also have like a transaction ID or maybe the region or maybe the uh, time and all those things. But these are the three columns that will be sufficient for our query. Okay, first let's try to understand what exactly the revenue retention. What is revenue retention? This is very important. We need to understand. Without this knowledge, we can't write a query or like we can't frame any kind of a steps here, right? So I will tell you in a simple words, which means that how much revenue did the company retain from the existing users in future months. Okay, so how much the revenue the company retained from the existing users in the future months. Okay, so this is very key important metrics for SaaS companies and any company that is based on subscription based or something work on recurring revenue related things. Recurring revenue. I mean, some companies they may also measure if they are not in a subscription based also. So that is also fine. Okay, but this is in short what exactly the revenue retention. Now let's see how do you solve the question. Let's try to understand the steps. So first thing, we need to find out a cohort. Cohort. Let me erase it and write it again. Cohort. What exactly mean the cohort? It's nothing but based on user first purchase month. This is very important. I will tell you why it is important in a few seconds, right? And then we need to find out aggregated data, aggregate revenue by user, cohort, month level. Okay. The next step is we need to just sum revenue by each cohort in their respective months. Okay. So this is a summation of the revenue with the cohort and then respective month. Then we can finally calculate retention value. Okay. So I know like it's still confusing. Let's try to understand by simple some kind of a dummy example. Okay. So it is very easy to understand. Okay. So let's say if we have a table like this, user ID, transaction month, and then we have a amount. Okay. Let's say we have uh, one and then two, only two users I'm taking. So let's say this guy has done some transaction in some month. Let's say it is related to uh, past transactions. So that's why I'm taking like a 2023. Let's say dollar amount or like some amount is 100. And then maybe he has done one more transaction in February. So which is $50. And then 2023, 0315. Again, he has done 30 and then 2023 0120, let's say 200, 2023 03 25 70. Let's say we have a data like this. Okay, so let's see like how do you find out a cohort. First step is we need to find out a cohort, correct? So for finding the cohort, it's very easy. find cohort. So since we have a two users, and we just need to find out a what is the minimum transaction month for the each of the user. So now the cohort user ID, cohort month, it's nothing but for user ID one, where which is the minimum transaction among these three. This is nothing but this one. So it's 2023-01, and I'm taking like a month start date. We don't need to consider any kind of a date level. So now for user two, this is the month. So 2023-01-01. Okay, so that is the first step. Now what we need to do, we need to map these values to your transaction data. Okay, so map transaction to cohort. Okay, so I will just copy this thing and then I will paste here. Let me copy the above table, copy, let me paste here. Just okay, I think it was not copied exactly. Let me try one more time. Yeah. So when I say mapping, what I need to do here was, so I just need to map user level data. So I need to map this cohort with respect to the transaction month. Okay. So now when I map, so I will get a new column called, let me take pencil, cohort month. So corresponding one user, I mean user ID one. So I will have like a 2023-01-01, 2023-01-01, 2023-01-01. For corresponding second user is also same cohort month, 2023-01-01, 2023-01-01. Okay, so this is the third step, whatever we have. Sorry, we still not yet calculated the aggregated here. So we are at to calculate now aggregated revenue by cohort month, right? So now let's calculate aggregated revenue. So for that, cohort month and then transaction month, and we need total revenue, right? So now if you see, you need to group by this one and this one. So here in the transaction month, right? So we don't need the date. So we can group by at a month level. So this one, this row, and then this row will be grouped by, and then you will get a sum of the amount, which is nothing but $300. Okay. So cohort month is 2023-01-01, and then corresponding transaction month also 2023-01-01. So which is nothing but my total revenue 100 plus 200, which is equal to 300. Okay. In the similar way, if I do for other rows also, I will get 2023-01-01, 2023-02-01, and then that is only 50 because I have only this row, second row. So which means that I will have 50. In the similar way, for other rows, 2023-03-01. So I will have here 30 plus 70. 30 plus 70, which is equal to 100. Okay. So this is my aggregated revenue at a cohort and transaction level, right? So now still we haven't calculated any kind of a retention here. Right now we need to calculate retention. So before calculating retention, we need to calculate one more thing called months since cohort. Okay. It is nothing but what is the lag of the current transaction month. Okay. It's very simple. Let me tell you. So you will have same table. Maybe let me copy the above table again. Uh, let me copy this table. Yeah. Let me paste here. Just drag a bit here. Yeah, so this is my cohort table and the above table. Now from that, I need to calculate month since cohort, right? So I will just write that as a MSC. Okay, so which means that you need to see the what is the lag between the cohort month and transaction month. Since these both are like a same thing, so the lag is zero. Okay. So for this, it is a 1 month future date, right? The transaction month is 1 month after the cohort month. So for that, it's a one. So for this row, it's a two. That's it. So it is a mm, 0, 1, 2. Like that, the month since cohort will come. Okay. Now the final thing was calculate percentage of retention. It is nothing but percentage of retention. There is a small formula equal to total revenue divided by initial revenue. Okay. And since it is a percentage, we need to multiply with 100. Okay. So now if I take this one, my cohort month, right? And then if I take like my MSC, so my cohort month is 2023 0101, and here this is initial month, right? And then my percentage of retention, it is nothing but what is the value here? 300. And initially also I have like a 300 in the month, right? So it's a 300. So now I have a 100%. So now again, let's calculate for after 1 month, what is the retention percent? So I have a 50 here. So 50 divided by initial amount is 300. So which is approximately equal to 16.67. And again, after 2 months, what is my value? So 100 divided by 300, which is nothing but approximately equal to 33.33. So now we understood the steps and then what exactly the revenue retention. So let's start with writing the query now. Okay. So let me grab some space here. Okay, let me extend some cursor points here. And yeah, let me take some space here. Okay. So now let's start the query here. So first thing I need CT as transactions. Okay, so here I will select user ID and I have to do a bit of formatting here for date because I have a date, right? I don't have like a month level. So I need to do formatting date by taking the transaction date, and I need yearly. Okay. And then I need month, and I'm gonna take as a start of the month as transaction month, and I need amount. Where do we have this data? So this data is present in user transactions. Let me close this city. Okay. Now I have a data in some kind of a format. Now, first thing is I need to find out a cohort. So cohort says, what does the cohort mean? It is nothing but a minimum or like a first purchase date, right? So first purchase month, sorry. So how do you get that one? So you need to group by user and take minimum transaction month as cohort month from the above city, which is nothing but transactions. Okay, so now you got your cohort. And what is the next step? You need to find out a revenue by cohort, right? So this is very critical step. So you need to join your transaction table with cohort, correct? So maybe let me write this as a revenue by cohort as I need like some select statements, and inside that I need like transaction table as T, and I need to do inner join my cohort city as C on. I need to join with user ID C dot user ID. Okay, right? And once I did this, what are the columns I need? Let me go little up. I need C dot cohort month. I need transaction month. Okay, and I need to get a value that is nothing but T dot amount as total revenue. And I need to add a group by here by C dot cohort month T dot transaction month. Okay, now let's go back and see where are we. So in this step, so you will be at here. Okay, aggregate the revenue, cohort month, transaction, and then total revenue. Clear? So we are at this step. Now we have to find out a MSC, or which means that the initial revenue point kind of a thing. Okay, so we need to find out the initial revenue, and then you will also need to find out a month since start. Right? These are the two things you are pending. So we can do anything. We can also find like a month since start is month since cohort as a initial thing, or we can also do like a initial revenue. So we can do like a initial revenue because that is a easy. So initial revenue and select cohort, that will be at a cohort month level, right? So cohort month total revenue as initial revenue from the above city. What is the above city name? Revenue by cohort. Okay. And we need to add a case statement that, sorry, not case statement, wait statement, wait clause is nothing but cohort month equal to transaction month. I can close the city. Clear? So now what I got was at a cohort level, what is the initial revenue? Now we are done with all the cities. Now we can do like a group by, and then we can calculate like a the revenue percentage. Okay, it's very simple now. So now I will use like a the table is revenue by cohort. Maybe I will use this as a R, and I will do inner join with my initial revenue as I will join on R dot cohort month equal to I dot cohort month. Okay. And then let's try to select like a necessary columns here. I need cohort month and I need R dot transaction month. I also need the month since cohort, right? So which means that this one, I need the lag, right? So for that, I will use a function called timestamp diff. Okay, so this is a function which will give the lag of the dates, right? So I'm keeping a format in a month. I don't need like a number of days. I need like a number of months. Okay, so if there is any difference, it will give 2 months, 3 months, 1 month kind of a thing. Okay, so I need the difference between cohort month versus transaction month. Okay, this is nothing but my month since cohort. Okay, and then I need like a ordered total revenue. I'm just displaying this one. And I also need initial revenue. And I have to calculate a percentage of the retention now. So what is the percentage? R dot total revenue divided by I dot initial revenue. Okay. And I need to multiply this one 100 percentage and multiply. Okay. So when I do this, I will get like a, or maybe I need to round off with 2. I missed the round off here as a revenue retention PCT. Okay, so this I will get, but I also need to do order by because at a month level, right? So I need to do order by cohort month and month since cohort. Okay, that's it. So now once you have done this order by, what you will get was the end output. It look like this one. So you will have a cohort month and then the corresponding months since cohort, and then you will have a retention percentage. Also, you will have a extra fields like total revenue and then initial revenue and all. Okay, so that's it. If this helped you, hit like, subscribe to the channel for more advanced interview questions. Always remember, everyone can learn SQL, everyone has to learn SQL. Thank you.